I'm a woman, so I'm going to use the women's bathroom, and being in Florida or being in California or wherever isn't going to stop me. I peed standing up, and it was lovely. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
I actually just got followed back by the Polk County Sheriff's Office official TikTok page after I did a video asking Sheriff Judd to get involved in arresting LilyTino for the illegal trespassing that she was doing within women's restrooms in Disney World and taking pictures in the women's restroom with children in the background, which is also illegal in the state of Florida.
There was a TikTok influencer named LilyTino who is who's taking videos and photos inside of the women's bathroom in Disney. And I'm thinking, well, wait a second. There's no way that this can be legal in the state of Florida, right? This is a transgender influencer. This seems to be like, first off, like you shouldn't be allowed to like film inside of bathrooms. It seems really creepy. But then here in Disney, it's like extra layers of creepy and wrong. Is there anything happening from a state level on this topic?
Yeah, we're investigating this. We do not tolerate men or boys in women's and girls' restrooms, gyms, private spaces. No tolerance. We're investigating this one.
Looks to me like LilyTino is in some deep doo-doo. What's up, everybody? Ty Rivera here, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. All right, you guys. So LilyTino, aka Buffalo Grills, aka I got my cake pops removed,
I got my cake pops removed,
aka Pennywise, may have really done it this time. Because if you weren't familiar with who was in that last clip with YouTube's own Benny Johnson, that was James Uthmeyer, which I talked about him a couple of weeks ago. He's the Florida Attorney General, and of course they're looking into LilyTino not only for being in the women's bathroom, but also for taking pictures in the women's bathroom, because if you don't know, that is a violation of privacy. And I know that at least as of 2 days ago, LilyTino wasn't taking this seriously at all.
I am suing LilyTino for emotional distress. Last week, I was in Disney World in the women's bathroom with my child. And when I walked into the bathroom, there was LilyTino taking pictures in the bathroom mirror. And she turned to me and said, "Hey, let me get your face in this picture." And I said, "No, thank you." But then she took the picture anyway of me and my kid. And I felt this really weird feeling. And I looked down at my kid, and my kid got turned into a corn dog.
Which I'm not going to play all of that video because frankly, it's not that interesting. I also saw another video LilyTino had made a couple weeks ago when this first happened, which I talked about it here on the channel. I'll make the playlist for LilyTino the pinned comment if anybody wants to see the saga of LilyTino. It started off pretty fun and lighthearted, and then it ended up getting kind of dark, which is where we're at now. But what I was saying is I saw LilyTino had made a different video closer to when it happened where it was a live stream and LilyTino was referring to what they do in the women's bathroom or by going into the women's bathroom as advocacy.
This is what it is being an advocate, okay? This is like, my goal in taking those pictures was to normalize trans women using the women's room.
And saying that it takes this friction in order for things to change.
That kind of thing doesn't happen without friction.
And we're not going to watch all of that video either because, once again, frankly, it's just not that interesting. And I also know about the petition, so anybody that's going to be like, have you heard about the petition? I definitely have heard about the petition. If anybody's not familiar, there was a petition that was started to have LilyTino removed from TikTok. That currently has over 500,000 signatures. LilyTino isn't worried about that either.
If word of this petition ends up on someone at TikTok's desk, what they'll do is say, did Lily violate our terms of service? The answer is no, so they will not ban me.
But when it comes to what LilyTino was talking about with this being advocacy and this friction being necessary. First off, I thought advocacy was supposed to help out a particular group. I didn't think it was supposed to hurt them or put them in a worse situation. And then secondly, I noticed when trans people like LilyTino talk about change or their rights, what they're doing with the language that they use is they try to kind of mimic or compare it to the original civil rights movement. But what LilyTino misses is that this is completely different from the original civil rights movement, because in the original civil rights movement, it was about Black people saying we're just as human as everybody else. We deserve to have the same rights. In a nutshell, which eventually the friction that Black people were able to cause was very beneficial. And the reason that it was beneficial is because they were right. Black people are human beings like everybody else, and they deserve to have the same rights. But with trans people, the reason that the friction that LilyTino is causing right now is going to be ineffective and is only going to adversely affect the trans community is because trans activists and trans advocates, they're not saying we're just the same as everybody else. Because if you were just the same as everybody else, you would go into the bathroom that actually fits with your biology instead of trying to make a big deal out of being allowed into a space that you really have no business in. So when you're trying to say that we're supposed to really get on board with the fact that trans women are the same as real women, it's just untrue. So it's not something that anybody's going to go with. You're going to have to continue to have that fight on your own. And in the end, I am sure that you're going to lose. And the reason that I'm sure of that is because it really is about a certain group of people wanting us to just buy into what's in their head, even if that doesn't jive with what's actually going on with their bodies, which that's what these spaces are about. That's the reason that they're designed the way that they're designed. Like, for example, LilyTino talked on the Disneyland bathrooms video about how LilyTino had gone to the bathroom standing up. Most women, I understand some of you hover when a toilet's dirty, which I knew that, but some of you had to remind me in the last video. Thanks for the visual. But most women sit to pee. So that's why you all have stalls with toilets in them, and we as men have fewer stalls and then a couple urinals just to balance it out, because we do have the ability to conveniently and easily pee standing up, which again should tell LilyTino that there is a difference between males and females, between trans women and women. And it really is as simple as, if there weren't differences, LilyTino, you wouldn't be talking about having to have your marshmallow wand inverted, and you wouldn't have had to have your cake pops removed. You also wouldn't have needed that facial feminization surgery, which I don't really think that you had. But neither here nor there, not gonna be shady. Than I already have been. And I know that should LilyTino ever come across any one of my videos, which I'm pretty sure that by now LilyTino has at least seen one of them. If you guys want, alert LilyTino on TikTok about my videos. But if LilyTino were ever to come across my videos, I'm sure LilyTino would be quick to refer to me as a transphobe, which, if anybody doesn't know my history or LilyTino hasn't seen any of my previous videos and is watching now, what you have to know about me is that I have had trans friends my entire adult life. Most of them have been male to female, a few female to male. And as much as I love them and I respect them and I see them as family in some cases, there are still biological differences between a trans person and a regular person. It's just what it is, and it's the reason for the season. And when I say the season, I mean the season of trans. And the quicker that trans people, and especially the trans activists, really do accept that, the easier that their road will get. But anyway, I wanted to react to the video that's essentially LilyTino's original rebuttal to the bathroom controversy that happened at Disney World. So let's get into it. By the way, like, comment, and subscribe. We're on our way to 100,000 subscribers, just past 85,000. Thank you all very much. When you hit the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell and select all notifications so that you know every time I upload. Now let's get on with the ridiculousness that is LilyTino, aka Buffalo Grills, aka Pennywise, aka I got my cake pops removed.
Those Disney bathroom selfies got y'all real upset, huh?
As per usual, Tone Deaf Lily can't understand that this is about more than people just being upset. Violating the privacy of women and children doesn't seem to at all be a concern to Lily, because LilyTino thinks a point is being made.
Saying, oh, Lily, you can't take selfies in the bathroom. It's not appropriate. Well, let me remind you.
Notice the drop in tone of voice. Well, let me remind you. That was LilyTino going from trans voice to mansplain mode.
That literally every celebrity you've ever enjoyed on screen has at one point taken a bathroom selfie. For example,
hey Lily, notice there was nobody in the background of any of the celebrity selfies you shared? They're called selfies. That means it's just supposed to be yourself. Maybe, just maybe, that has something to do with it.
and it's not just celebrities. Any woman you ever meet has likely taken a photo in a public bathroom.
You just said it yourself, Lily. Woman, which is not what we're discussing right now. Hate to break it to you, but...
Why, you ask? Because we look cute and we want to document it.
because we look cute and we want to document it. Let's not lie to ourselves, Lily. We all saw the pictures. You didn't look cute. There was absolutely nothing worthy of documentation. And secondly, you can't just slip yourself into the we of women and think that we're just gonna buy it. We have eyes, Lily. We have ears.
So what is different about me that I'm not allowed to take bathroom selfies? The easy answer here is, oh, Lily, you're a trans woman.
Okay. That's not the easy answer, Lily. That is the answer. What you just did right there is the equivalent of me being like, what's 2 + 2? And then being like, the easy answer would be 4. And everybody would be like, the answer is literally 4. That is the answer. Just like 2 + 2 is 4. The reason that you're getting treated differently is because you are a trans woman, and I cannot stress this enough. You just don't have any legitimate business in the women's bathroom. The women's bathroom is meant for females. And I still think that we should change the signs on the bathrooms to male and female just to be more clear with people that want to pretend that they don't get it, like LilyTino. Any spaces that we actually care about making the actual distinctions in are spaces that I think should be marked male and female, so that there's no argument from people like this that want to split hairs and act like, because of some pseudoscience, that all of a sudden we're supposed to accept this gender happens in your head.
So you get held to a different standard, and that is true. But people judge trans women differently depending on how well they pass. If you pass, that means you don't look trans.
Yeah, and if you pass, it also means that you don't make a disturbance. It also means that you don't get noticed. You basically fly under the radar. So of course you're going to be treated differently if you actually pass, because nobody actually even notices you're there. As far as they see, you might as well just be another woman. Because you look like a woman, you're not behaving in a suspicious manner at all, and so you don't set off any alarms. And I know some women still have a problem with that, and I get that for them. But am I going to turn that into my fight? No. And the only reason that I don't think it's a fight worth really taking on, because there's really no way to do anything other than based on an honor system. Otherwise, what are the alternatives? Like, are we going to have a security guard that's assigned to every women's bathroom in the country, in the world for that matter? And what's going to happen with women that look particularly manly? Like, I saw a video from quite a while back where it was a lesbian, born a woman. She was an actual female, but didn't look it enough and didn't have her ID on her. So they told her that she had to leave. So If we're going to start doing that, we're going to run into a lot of problems. But I also think that some of those people are just being particularly nitpicky because, like I said, if a person's not acting like a creep at all, and they completely look in a way that wouldn't cause any disturbance, then exactly how do you want that to be enforced? And let me know in the comments. I'm not saying that I completely think that you're crazy. If that's the privacy you want, you have a right to that privacy. But I am asking how you think that this would be enforced. Now imagine you, one of the women that's watching this right now, are trying to get into a bathroom and somebody decides that you don't look feminine enough. Let's say you're just out for a trip to the grocery store, or maybe you went to a movie and you forgot your ID at home and you're trying to access the women's bathroom and somebody stops you and says, hey, this probably isn't the bathroom for you. And you're like, but I'm a woman. And they're like, yeah, well, you don't really look like it. And you're like, okay, but I am a woman. Well, let me see your ID. I don't have my ID. Okay, well, then you can't use the women's bathroom. First time that happens to you, you're going to turn into an instant Karen. I guarantee you. You're probably going to piss your pants too. But what I was getting at before I went on that little tangent that I'm sure is going to really piss some of you off. But I know enough of my followers get what I'm saying and understand that I'm not trying to go against you. I'm just saying that these are things that you seriously do have to consider if you're going to think about what the enforcement on these situations are going to be or how the most logical way to work this is going to be. But to get back to the situation that we're actually discussing right now, when it comes to you, LilyTino, if a person that looks like you specifically walks into the women's bathroom, it definitely does set off alarms because the women in that bathroom know as soon as they see you that a male has clearly breached the women's bathrooms.
I know that I don't pass.
Well, I'm glad you at least know that much. Finally, something we can all agree on.
Trust me, I know. But passing privilege is a real thing. There are some trans women out there who, no matter how hard they try, will never be able to pass. Do those trans women deserve to be treated differently? No.
Okay, when you use a term like passing privilege, that's your being from San Francisco really showing. I'm going to do you a really big favor right now and let you know that the rest of the country has moved on from that kind of language. Nobody cares about any particular kind of privilege anymore. The whole language of privilege is not something anybody's going with. So I would take that out of my vocabulary if I really wanted to relate to people on any kind of logical level. But when you use the word deserve is an awfully big word when it comes to trans people and gendered spaces. Because really, no trans woman deserves to be in women's spaces. Like I said though, some do fly under the radar and go completely unnoticed. But for the trans women that do not pass, there seem to be two choices to me. Either work harder or just use the men's room, which I've said before, and I stand by firmly that that's where we as men should support trans women, especially liberal men that are wearing the Protect the Dolls shirts. If you guys aren't familiar, dolls is a slang for trans women. And when you see the Protect the Dolls shirts, that's liberal men letting you know that they're very much in support of trans people and trans rights. But the way that I think we as men should really support trans women is by letting them know that we will stand up for them if anybody tries to give them a hard time about going into the men's bathroom. Because since they are biologically male, that is where they belong. And for the men that truly do not like trans people, which I don't think any of those men actually follow me, and if you do, you probably didn't make it this far in the video. But if you did, congratulations. What I would tell you though, friend to friend, because I personally don't care what phobia you have. I don't care if you have homophobia. Thank you for making it this far in the video. But what I'm trying to tell you is it's not about you being nice to trans people that you would even do this. It really is about making sure that trans women know that the men's bathroom is a safe space for them. And we will let it be known that even if somebody doesn't like trans people, nobody should be physically assaulted. I think most of us can agree on that, especially for what basically come down to fashion choices. A trans woman is just a male wearing women's clothing. It's everybody's right to wear whatever they want to wear. If people want to wear makeup, if people want to polish their nails, whatever people want to do, they should be able to do. But what I'm saying is, it's not really about you showing any kind of real support for trans women if you don't like trans women. What it is letting these people know that they are safe to use the men's bathroom, so that they feel comfortable in the men's bathroom, so that women don't have to worry about trans women coming in there, and it takes away the excuse that the men's bathroom isn't safe for trans women, which is a lot of what the trans activists rely on when it comes to the bathroom debate. They're always like, well, it's not safe for trans women in the men's bathroom. Okay, well, I think that we as a society should have at least progressed to that point where we can understand that some people don't dress the way that we would like them to dress. Some people are going to be attracted to people that we don't think that they should be attracted to. Some people are overall going to live differently from the ways that we think people should live, or the way that we personally live. So I really do feel like that's a huge, huge thing that men in general can do to help out the situation, not only for actual women, but for trans people as well, in just saying that, yeah, it's your business. You got to use the bathroom. Come in the men's bathroom where you actually belong, and we'll at least be as cool with you as we would be with any other dude.
They should be able to take bathroom selfies too.
And they can in the men's bathroom. See, I compromised. I did my part. Now do yours, LilyTino, and stay out of the women's bathroom. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, but that's where I'm at on it. If you want to see my latest video about the wokies melting down because day laborers were getting tackled by ICE, click the video on your screen. Other than that, as always, thank you for watching. This has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.
They bought into his bullshit.